Hey guys, this is AI Gaming 1776, and this is example one of why the PlayStation is stupid, or something along those lines. I have owned every PlayStation console, the PSP, the PS Vita, the PS3, the PS4. I have all four of those in my house right now. I have a PS2 in storage. PS1, no idea where it is. I've had all of the systems, the memory cards, the controllers, the games, all of them. But there are some things about the PS4 that bother me. Okay, so today was the PlayStation Experience 2015, and I just found out that Final Fantasy VII is available on the PS4. Now, I already own Final Fantasy VII on my Vita, but I wanted to check it out on the PS4 because it has trophies. I can play it on the PS4, but I can also remote play it on the Vita. Okay, I'm in the Sony ecosystem. All right, I'm not just a random fanboy hater. Okay, but there are some things that bother me. So I find out on Twitter that Final Fantasy VII is available on the PS4 right now. Okay, cool. Let's find it. Let's find it because finding things in this store is one of the most irksome aspects of being a PS4 owner. So let's go. The very first thing up top is Spotlight. It's Final Fantasy freaking 7. I'm sure they want to spotlight it. Oh, PlayStation Experience. Well, that's where it was. So let's check that. All right, there's this, whatever this is. Okay, at the show. Let's try that. Loading. Okay, Uncharted. I can see why they would start with Uncharted. Bloodborne, I guess. I mean, it's got DLC coming. Guns Up, no idea what that is. Unravel, don't know what that is. Nuclear Throne, don't know what that is. Fat Princess, don't care. World of Tanks, don't care. Dead Star, don't care. Street Fighter V, it's not even out yet. I don't care. Battleborn, don't care. Star Wars Battlefront, it's okay. It's been out for a few weeks now. Hitman, again, it's not out yet. I don't care. I know you can do a beta. I don't care. More Battlefront, Black Ops, I already have it. Black Ops, I already have it. I don't play baseball games. Assassin's Creed, I already have it. Like, if you would have noticed when I started the video, I already have it. Destiny, I already have it. Destiny, already. Disney Infinity, I don't want it. The Bit Trip, don't want it. Batman, Arkham Knight, I already have it. And the Season Pass. Where the hell is Final Fantasy VII? It's Final Fantasy VII, but it's not here. Okay, fine. I'll back out, which is within itself fun. New releases. Final Fantasy VII is new. I see Ant-Man. I see Fantastic Four. I see Just Cause. I see Street Fighter V. I see Kung Fu Panda. I see Rainbow Six Siege. I see Arrow. I see The Flash. Where the hell is Final Fantasy VII? It's not coming soon. It's already available. Popular. All right, well, Final Fantasy VII would be popular, right? Let's check it out. Where is Final Fantasy VII? Oh, there's apps. No, I don't want iHeartRadio. I want Final Fantasy effing 7. All right. PS Experience. We already did that. Just for you. How about games? Final Fantasy VII is a game. It's not Kung Fu Panda. Oh, there's Fat Princess. Where the F is Final Fantasy VII? It's Final Fantasy. Everyone knows what this game is, 7. All right? Everyone knows what Final Fantasy is. No, not everyone knows what Fat Princess is. Okay, there's Fat Princess. Oh, wait a minute. There's Final Fantasy VII. Sorry, I overlooked it in that small square. I was going to show you where I found it. Okay, you got me, Internet. We're 4 minutes into the video, and I finally found it here. And this is my second time. And honestly, if I hadn't gone back to shit on Fat Princess right there, I would have missed it again. So that's great that you put Final Fantasy VII there. Let's keep looking where I was looking before, though. All right. I looked under popular. I looked under new. Nuclear Throne. Okay. Don't want that. I want Final Fantasy VII. There was a trending section. I'm trying to find that. Because earlier I found trending and I was like, surely Final Fantasy VII is going to be trending. Uncharted, Street Fighter V, PS Experience, Tom Clancy, Star Wars, Call of Duty, Destiny, Holiday Movie, Ant-Man, Ted 2. So far, we looked at trending, we looked at new, we looked at popular, and in one of those areas, was it under new? Was it under games new or was it games popular? Where did we just see Final Fantasy VII? Here. We found it all the way there where we got to scroll. It's Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that 600 times. I should not have to click over this many times for Final Fantasy VII to show up. Where I finally found it was I got pissed off enough that I went into catalog. And it still wasn't here either. Final Fantasy VII, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I read an old tweet. Let me look at what date it is. Hold on. Let me see. It's December 5th right now. I'll have to double check, but I read that today is the day that Final Fantasy VII became available. And apparently it is on the store, but so far I found it once when I went into games and I clicked over like 3 panels, and then I found it in here. This is where I found it when I was looking earlier. So it took me looking earlier, getting mad about not being able to find it because I wanted to find the game. See, this is the thing, PlayStation. You have a game with the gravitational pull of Final Fantasy VII. One of those like shut up and take my money kind of games. And then you have a person who wants to find it and give you their money. But they can't find the game. And this has been a common problem with the PS4. Do you know how many times there's been a demo for a game? And I know there's a demo for a game because GameSpot.com says, hey, the demo for the game just released today for some game. And then I will go to the PS4 and I will try to find the damn demo and I can't find it. Can't find the demo. I have to resort to this catalog bullshit to find it. So there's Final Fantasy VII, and then even if you were going to resort for the catalog, by the way, look, I have Assassin's Creed Unity, not Unity, but Syndicate right there. I have Arkham Knight. I have Grand Theft Auto Digital. It's just on there. Advanced Warfare Digital. Destiny Digital. Drive Club Digital. The Last of Us remastered Bloodborne. Like, I've spent money on Sony stuff. I feel like I know people want to be like, fanboy and troll and things like that. I'm just a poor guy that wants to sit down and give Sony my money, and they're making it hard for me. So let's go back into the store. PlayStation Store. Wait for that to load. I have really good internet, by the way. All right, so wait for that to load. And then to get to Final Fantasy VII, the quickest way I found it is to go down to games. Okay? It's down there. They have to know about human psychology and product placement and things like they just have to, right? To some extent. And look at this. Like, as soon as you go into the store, you can see Star Wars. You can see Street Fighter. You can see Nathan Drake. You can see Destiny. You can see Black Ops. And then you can see Ant-Man. You see those before you even move the controller. But you go over here, no Final Fantasy. All right, maybe they just want like the new blockbuster games. I got it. That's cool. But I go over here. It's not over here. It's not. So I did all that for nothing. And now I have to do... You know what I hate about this UI? So I didn't find what I was looking for. So now I gotta like to get out. I think I can actually do the L1. Okay, I can L1 it. All right, whatever. I guess that's a little bit better. I go down to trending. I go down to PS Experience. Look, I did Spotlight, PS Experience, and trending. Final Fantasy VII wasn't there. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Hold on. Maybe the game didn't become available today. Now I got to open up my Twitter client because I know that I just saw via Twitter that Final Fantasy VII is available. That's how I found out. Right here. PlayStation's official account, Twitter, @PlayStation, posted 33 minutes ago. New Final Fantasy VII remake. And then, wait a minute. No, and the original out today. Okay, so here, let me read it for you guys. The official Sony PlayStation. I follow Sony, guys. I follow PlayStation on Twitter. I do my part, all right? Sony needs to do their part and make it easy for me to find the game. So I follow the PlayStation Twitter account dutifully. It says new Final Fantasy VII Remake details revealed and the original out today on PS4 with trophies! Exclamation mark. All right. Posted 11 p.m. December 5th, 2015. All right. You can hold me to that. All right. So it said post out today. Out today means it's new. If it's new and it's Final Fantasy VII, then it better be a Spotlight, a PS Experience, or a Trending. Okay? Get your shit together. It's Final Fantasy VII. You go down to games, and again, I did not expect that. How many times do I have to hit the button? All right, look. So when I go to games, I push over once. Okay, I'll push over again. Twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times. Plus I had to scroll down the game. So we're talking like 15 to 20 button presses to get to Fat Princess. And then another for Final Fantasy VII. And due to the nature of that logo and the way it's designed, it kind of blends in with that Battlefront thing and the Bit Trip thing and the Disneyland sale, Disney Day sale, whatever. All right. I barely saw Fat Princess. And Final Fantasy VII's a little square. It needs to be a big square. Like that shit-ass baseball game. I'm sure it's a great baseball game. I don't play baseball on TV. So I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I'm trying to calm down. I understand that this is a small thing to get bent out of shape over. People are going to probably thumb down the video and be like, oh, he's getting mad because he can't find Final Fantasy VII. But here's the thing. I'm actually pissed off about this entire console generation. I'm pissed off that the Wii U turned out to be a joke. Guys, consoles used to be big deals. Even a failure like the Sega Dreamcast is still talked about today in revered tones, okay? Even the Commodore is still talked about, all right? Even the Atari Jaguar, the joke that it was, I mean, like, it has some place in history. And I guess you can say the current consoles, they definitely have a place in history. They're very large platforms. But hear me out on this. A lot of consoles that we've had so far, in my opinion, they deserved to exist. They did a good thing, all right? I'm glad they existed. Now, I have all the consoles. If you can name a modern console, I probably have it, all right? The title on here is AI Gaming 1776. So yeah, I do the gaming and I do PC gaming too. So I'm into the gaming, I'm into the culture, I'm into all that. So here I'm just speaking frank with you now, okay? I'm winding down from my little outburst, but I'm trying to talk to you about this. It's not even the matter that I can't find Final Fantasy VII so much, although I feel like that's a very easy thing for me to bitch about, for me to point out. I feel like it's a very easy thing for me to talk about because I feel like that's kind of objective. You know what I mean? That's not an opinion. Objectively, Final Fantasy is a pretty big game. Final Fantasy is a big franchise. Final Fantasy VII, pretty big game available today. Which you want to see some screenshots? You know, while we're at it, they don't look that great. That was one of the things I wanted to see. It almost looks like a cell phone game, and that has me kind of worried. But anyway, back to the point. This whole console generation has pissed me off. I don't like the interfaces on these systems. I kind of like the Xbox One interface for a while, and then they went and ruined that. I think in November. Yeah, they ruined that in November. I don't like that new Xbox One interface. I don't like the consoles interfaces. I don't like the fact that they're pretty much always online. I don't like the fact that, you know, if you want to play online, you pretty much have to pay. You used to be able to get a PlayStation 3 and you wouldn't have to pay to play online, and that was one of the features. Yeah, you get free games. I don't play those games. Okay? Like, did you see me when I was scrolling through all those games earlier? I don't play those games. I don't know if you'd say I play a lot of games. I mean, I do the gaming thing. But there's a lot of games I don't play, right? I just don't. And most of the free games, I don't play. So whatever. Anyway, I'm not been out of shape over it, although I do have to pay for Xbox Live and I do have to pay for PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called. So whatever, just it is what it is. It's the way things are. But another thing is these consoles are slower now. They feel so much slower than the old consoles. It's like Windows XP versus other stuff. Like I have an old Windows XP computer. I'm shocked at how fast it is. Every now and then I boot it up because it has some stuff on it that I care about. And I'm shocked at how quick that old ass computer is. It's more than 10 years old. And it's like lightning fast. Anyway, I know I'm kind of going down a bunny trail here. But there's a lot I don't like about these consoles. I don't like how slow they are. I don't like all the updates and how slow those are. I don't like the 500 gigabyte hard drives. I don't like how slow the hard drives are. I don't like how long the load times are. I don't like how honestly crap the graphics are. A GTX 960 on PC murders these consoles. Murders them in cold blood. I'm talking looks better and gets 60 frames per second. Real 1080p. Do you know how many of these games aren't even real 1080p? Do you even know how many console games are not even real 1080p? They're 900p. So if it can be 900p on the Xbox One and then 1080p on the PS4, and then even worse, it could be 900p on the PS4 and then 720p on the Xbox One. Sometimes it's 1080 on the PS4 and then it's 720 on the Xbox One, which is depressing. But you also get 30 frames per second, and it's not even about being an elitist. When you play 60 frames per second gaming, you're going to understand it controls better. You can say, oh, it's all about the gameplay. Great. Give me 60 frames per second then on the console. Because the console already looks pretty fugly compared to PC anyway. So make it even fugglier and give me 60 frames per second. But now I'm just digressing all over the place. I'm honestly, I'm not a happy customer when it comes to the consoles this generation. All right. When I started posting videos on this channel, I made it a point to have the Xbox One version, the PS4 version, and the PC version. And I did that so I would be able to say, hey guys, here are the differences. Okay? And there are differences, don't get me wrong. But I've become so cynical with how badly these console games have come out that I don't buy them anymore. Because, here, I'll go ahead and start Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This is a game that's pretty decent on the PC. It's pretty demanding on the PC, but it's still pretty decent. On the PS4, I started getting curious. I was wondering because it was like so hard to run on the PC. Even the GTX 960 that I mentioned on the high preset cannot keep 60 frames per second. It can't. It goes down into the 40s. So, which is still better than the 30s, but again, going back to the PC gaming thing and all that, you want to keep a constant 60 frames per second. 960 can often do that. So, I got curious. Well, how the hell does this run on console if it's so demanding on PC? I was curious to find out. So what I did was I bought it on PS4. Got it on Black Friday sale, thank goodness. Didn't want to pay full price, no offense, but anyway. It's depressing, guys. If you only play consoles, you don't know what you're missing. You literally don't know what you're missing. You know what? You can eat McDonald's every day and Burger King every day and Wendy's every day. I eat that, right? It's good. But let's say you never go into Outback Steakhouse. Let's say you never go into Ruth Chris. Let's say you never go into some nice fancy restaurant, all right? Or let's say you get steak at Applebee's. You get steak at Denny's, but you don't go to Ruth Chris. You never go somewhere that's got that fancy steak. So you don't know. You don't know what you're missing. And to be honest, look, man, I've had steak at a diner before. That's like a $9 steak and it's good. It's not a bad steak. So you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I got a $9 steak. Why would I want a $50 steak? And you start telling yourself, well, $50 steak ain't worth it. I got this $9 steak and I'm happy with this steak, and the $50 steak ain't worth it. And the people that buy a $50 steak, those people are stupid. All right. And you start thinking like that. And you start thinking like, I got my PS4 and I'm happy with it. And the graphics look better than the PS3 and those look better than the PS2. Therefore, I have the best graphics ever. Right? I mean, that's what that boils down to. These are the best console graphics ever. I'm very happy with this. I'm sure PC gaming looks better, but who cares? Well, I'll tell you why I care. And this goes back to I said I'm not a happy customer. This is playable, but there is so much motion blur. There is so much blur as you move the camera. And the thing about modern games, all these open world games, is you move the camera a lot. You need situational awareness. All right? So I'm walking here. Here, let me shoot my gun. Oh, do I have a gun? Let me see if I have a gun. There we go. I have a gun. All right, so I'm going to shoot the gun. It's probably going to get the cops' attention. Now, see, there's a red ring around my body. Okay, there's little pointy things pointing at the people who can do me harm or want to do me harm. So when that happens, it behooves me to spin the camera around and see where they are and what they're doing and what they're up to, right? But when I do that, there's motion blur and the screen moves in a choppy manner. Also, I keep having to overcorrect the camera because when I put pressure on the joystick, the camera doesn't move where I want it to. Now, you can get used to this, right? Here's the thing. I'm used to PC gaming, 60 frames per second up to 144 frames per second. I have a 980 Ti. So I'm used to when I move the camera moves where I actually want it to move to. And for people who use a keyboard and mouse, that moves the camera even, how do you say, accurately. All right, that moves the camera even. I was about to grab for a mouse right now to show you, but I'm not on PC. All right, so anyway, to a lot of people, this is serviceable. This is fine. To a lot of people, this probably actually looks good. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, compared to the PC, this does not look good. All right, this is visual pleasantness wise about like medium on the PC, between low and medium on the PC. Now, you can watch Digital Foundry and they'll be like, oh, well, they used HBAO plus and they used this and they used that, which puts it somewhere between the high and the very high presets. Yeah, that's true. That's true. When they do the port, there are some things that, you know, are kind of cherry picked from the higher presets when you play on PC that get put onto the console port. But they say the proof is in the pudding. The finished product and how good that looks, it's somewhere between low and medium. Now, if you play on the PC between, on low or medium, it won't have as much detail as this port's going to have. In certain areas, it's not going to have some of the effects. Okay, that's true. But as far as like the actual pleasantness, of how it looks, this is about low to medium PC quality. And it freaking makes me nauseous as I move the camera around. I don't think I've ever found a chimney sweep before, and yet here we are. So anyway, I'm not a happy customer, guys. I don't like the consoles too much as it is. And then there's this part of me that is like this growing buyer's remorse that I ever got them. I've got an Xbox One. I've got a PS4. I have multiple controllers for each one for various reasons. But I have multiple controllers between each one. You already saw I got games for this, and I have more games than this on disc. I've got games for the Xbox One. I even bought an external hard drive for the Xbox One because for some reason, its drive seems to have less available space on it or something compared to the PS4. So I bought an external hard drive for my Xbox One. I've been paying for Live and PS Plus and all that. I'm not happy. I'm not a satisfied customer. And I never was. Listen, man, it's kind of like, let's say you got a person who's never cheated on anyone before, right? And then they get in a relationship and they're unhappy. And they start thinking about seeing other people. And they start going to lunch or whatever with other people. Like maybe they should not be going out to lunch with or whatever. And it's not meant to be cheating at first. But it just kind of becomes that. Like, suddenly, all of a sudden, there's this torrid affair. I wasn't happy with consoles. And I started being curious about PC. And I had a shitty little 750 Ti graphics card because I was trying to do the whole, oh, I don't want to spend a bunch on a gaming PC because, allegedly you can spend very little on a gaming PC and have just as good as a console experience, which, by the way, that's borderline a lie. You got to spend a little bit of money. You got to put some money into it. You're not going to spend $400 or $500 unless you buy used or, I mean, there's other ways around it. But anyway, for the most part, if you're buying new and you're buying off Amazon or Newegg or Best Buy or whatever, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money. I keep moving the camera like shit because it's not where I want it to be. Anyway, I was unhappy with the consoles and I started going out to lunch with the PC. And then the next thing you know, I'm meeting the PC in hotels. And I know it's not cool, but you know what? I go home to the consoles and I tell them that I love them. And I'm playing Forza 6 and I'm playing Bloodborne. And I'm like, nah, baby, I love you. I've always loved you, consoles. I'll always continue to love you. But you know what? You know what, man? I'm thinking about packing up my shit and moving in with PC. All right? Because consoles can't satisfy me anymore. And it's for a lot of reasons. It's not just any one thing. I can take shit graphics. I'm happy with the Wii U. Okay? I'm happy with I was happy with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and those weren't better than a PC for a lot of their lifespan. I mean, in the beginning, arguably they competed very well, but there was a pretty big period where there was huge differences. Play Borderlands 2 with a GTX 960 pretty much maxed out at 60 frames per second, and then play Borderlands 2 on the Xbox 360. Pretty big difference, all right? And I was happy on the 360. So it's not about the shit graphics, but man, the controls are so clunky on modern consoles. I about wanted to kick a hole through the wall trying to play Black Flag on consoles, okay? And Black Flag had some bullshit missions that those controls were not cut for. Those missions were writing checks those controls could not cash. So, and that's the thing, you can play this exact same game on PC. It controls better. The camera moves better. Your character moves better. And when everything's refreshing twice as fast, there's these little bitty window. Why do you think fighting games are 60 frames per second? Why do you think most shooters are 60 frames per second outside of Destiny? Why do you think Call of Duty is 60 frames per second? Why do you think Battlefield made it a big deal when they switched to 60 frames per second? There are benefits to controlling the game with higher refresh rates. Those are real benefits. Companies, especially these competitive games, would not have worked so hard to get their games running at 60. And you know what? We had games, these kind of games ran at 60 frames per second on the last generation of hardware because there is a tangible benefit from having 60 frames per second. So I'm not bullshitting you when I say it controls better at 60 frames per second. Anyway, point being, I'm not happy with consoles, man. I thought I would be. I've always been happy with consoles. I was happy with the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. I was even happy with the Nintendo 64. The GameCube, not so much, but guess what? I've always had all the consoles. So I was happy with the original Xbox that generation. That thing had a hard drive in it. All right, that thing was ahead of its time. It was my media center in my living room. I had all my music on it. Yeah, loved the Xbox One. Had it hooked up to a surround sound. It was badass. So I've always been happy with the consoles. I was happy with the PS3. I played all of my Call of Duty games on the PS3, and I was a very happy person doing it. This is the first generation where I am not happy with the consoles. I'm happy with the Wii U. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about it I don't like. But the Wii U can give you 1080p 60 frames per second, which is, it needs some props for that because it's crazy. You got to go to the underpowered Wii U. It's like, oh, you want a console game at 1080p 60 frames per second? Better play some Mario. You know, that's where we're at in 2015. So I don't like this, man. I don't like this generation. Games control like shit, look like shit. This is ugly, man. This is ugly. If I was a console gamer, I would have. And if you don't understand how ugly this is, go look at my videos. I got videos on my channel. I'll link to them in the description. I got videos showing how this looks on PC. It's embarrassing. This looks muddy and shit. This doesn't even look clear on the same monitor. I'm using the same fucking monitor and the same brand and model of HDMI cable, and the shit looks muddy. It doesn't even look clear. The whole screen, right? Like, it's just not as crisp. So I'm just not happy with this generation. Now, my plan was to do this original video. My plan, and yeah, you know, whoever doesn't like that. By the way, I've had that as my backdrop before the Dead or Alive scandal from a week or two ago. That's been my backdrop for a long time. So I don't even play the games. But it's literally like, what do you want on your background? Some colorful blobs? You know, some Uncharted bullshit? Some Batman picture? Or a bikini? I will have the bikini, thank you. So it all started, the plan was to tell you how pissed off I was that I couldn't find Final Fantasy VII, and I didn't mean for it, but now I spilled into, I don't like this whole console generation. I just don't. And what pisses me off, it actually makes me mad that this console generation is successful. Because if this console generation got the fate that it deserves, we could start the new console generation and I would cut my losses with the money I spent on this shit. I know not everybody can do that. I know that sounds elitist, you know, whatever. I apologize for that, I suppose. I mean, not like I'm sorry, but like, how about this? I acknowledge the fact that that may sound insensitive to some people. I get it. Like, I've read the comments online. But before I digress too far here, for the greater good of gaming, this console generation needs to fail. And it's not. It's flourishing. The Xbox One is considered a failure, but it's outselling the Xbox 360 compared to this point in its life cycle. The PS4 is a runaway success by anyone's way of measuring it. The PS4 is highly successful. So we're stuck with this shit, okay? Like, we're nailing ourselves to the cross. We're hanging ourselves by our own rope on this generation. Let me tell you something, guys. A lot of games are not even full 1080p on console. Not even a real 1080p. It's 900p scaled up. Or it's 720p scaled up. And yet, you know, 4K TVs are getting cheaper. I'm predicting, in this, you don't have to be the world's smartest person to predict it, that 4K is, over the next 2 or 3 years, going to gain more prominence. It's going to get cheaper. It's going to be in more homes. What are you going to do when you're playing your 900p scaled up bullshit on a 4K TV with all that motion blur? You know, like, I'm just not looking forward to that. I want this console generation to die, even if it's a painful death. I got all these dumbass controllers. If I ask for them to kill this console generation and then the controllers I have aren't compatible, that's going to be its own little pain point for me. Yeah, I know I'm digressing all over the place, guys. What do you expect? It started out as a I can't find Final Fantasy VII rant. All right, this is what happens when somebody's had a thought bouncing around in their mind for a long time, and then they accidentally blurt it out. Anyway, this console generation needs to die, and it's not going to. It's very healthy. I don't know what they're going to do if they're going to do that thing where the PlayStation 4 they ship a more powerful model, but they still call it a PlayStation 4. Because the argument is this: the gaming scene is very successful on iOS and Android, and every year more powerful Androids come out, more powerful iPhones come out, and all they really do is like when there's a game on for the iPhone, you go to the App Store and it says, "Hey, you need an iPhone 4S or better to play this game." Consoles might go to that model. Okay, consoles might do that. I don't know. And if they do that, then we can get past these shitty little boxes that I spent money foolishly on a little bit quicker than waiting for the whole generation to die, which is what you would normally have to do. Um, Let me give you one. I'll save it for another video. I should have saved a lot of this for another video. I'm not hating for the sake of hating. I'm hating as someone who loves gaming and someone who actually likes consoles, or at least always has liked consoles, and would like to continue liking consoles. If I, if when I play Arkham Knight, or The Witcher 3, or Assassin's Creed, or any of these 30 frame per second third person games, if I could play them on console at 60 frames per second, and the camera doesn't move around like a piece of crap, and the camera moves around the way I want it to, and there's not a lot of motion blur, if I could do that on this hardware, I wouldn't really complain so much. But I hate that stuff. It's disorienting. You can get used to it. Okay, before I was PC gaming, I was used to it. I never liked it. Um, I never liked this generation. I never did. I like some of the games on it. Infamous Second Son's pretty cool, and yes, it's a 30 frames per second game, but it works somehow. Kind of like oh wait a minute, no, can't you get a higher frame rate on that? I think it's got an unlocked frame rate. Not really sure what the exact frame rate on that is now that I think about it. And Destiny kind of works at 30 frames per second, but I don't like that game because it's a fucking gambling simulator. Anyway, I'm not happy with this generation. That's the point. And PlayStation, basically, I mean, they've done a lot of things right by gamers. I'm not even going to shit on that. Like, PlayStation actually has done a lot of pro gamer things. But this UI is stupid. And the fact that I couldn't find Final Fantasy VII is beyond stupid. I know that part's subjective, but come on, man. It's Final Fantasy VII. You really did they really think that more people were interested in Fat Princess than Final Fantasy VII? Is that what they're trying to tell me? Or was it in their mind that, oh, it's Final Fantasy VII, people will want that so badly they'll dig for it, so we'll put all this other stuff up front to make sure it gets exposure? I don't know what their thought process was. I have no idea. I'm not running the most successful console gaming platform anyway in the world right now, so maybe I don't know anything. Maybe I'm fucking stupid. It's highly possible that I'm stupid. Anyway, that's my rant, guys. It's been AI Gaming 1776. Thank you so much if you listened to the whole thing, especially the parts where I rambled and digressed. I didn't plan on saying all these things. A lot of this was pretty spontaneous to include the whole part about packing my stuff up and moving it with PC. I had never even thought of that analogy before I started talking right now. So that's what happens. And I'm going to post this too. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to post it up there. You guys can just take it as it is. Thanks for listening, guys. Have yourselves an excellent day or an excellent night, whenever it is you're listening to it. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good one.